Usually if you need to use the wall, it's because you see it as some support, and it might also be because you don't know how to twist out. So we're just going to be looking at twisting out. Twisting out takes a little bit of time. This is a nice way of breaking it down and seeing if it works for you. There might be a few adjustments for you as well that you may need to make because you know your body more than I do. So the first thing is cartwheels, because when we're doing our cartwheels, it allows us to really understand the movement in the body of twisting out. So for very, very beginner, you're going to imagine that there's a line in front of you. Maybe you might even want to draw that line in front of you. It could be on the mat. You could put some tape onto the mat. You're going to point your toe. So you're going to choose which leg you're going to step with to cartwheel. You might have a favorite leg. I definitely do. So my left leg is in front. I'm going to bend that supporting leg as I place my left hand down, and I want to turn my hand outwards. I place the right hand over the left hand. So we've got nice shoulder width apart, and I lift the hips and I turn to open out the hips as I pull weight round. So we'll do that again. So we point the toe, we bend the supporting leg, we place the hands down onto the line, and we hop to twist out. So it's really important. The thing that we're learning here is the twist. I hope that makes sense. So when we do twist out to open out the hips, that's kind of the same action that we want when we're starting to do a cartwheel or even twisting out in a handstand. Then maybe you might be able to start to go a little bit higher. Maybe we'll start ending up with a cartwheel. I'm kind of hoping I'm not going to kick the frame. That was a really bad example. We'll do one more. Notice how I'm fearful of kicking this. But anyway, so you get the idea of twisting out from a cartwheel. So we really want to make sure that we flip the hips. Second exercise. When we start twisting out, we want to know which way we're going to be twisting out. So if you just stand nice and tall, and we think about falling, which foot are you going to step with to stop you from falling? Usually that's your more dominant side, and that's going to be the side that you're going to be twisting out from. So we've been learning to kick up into an L, possibly into a straight line handstand. The idea here is when we're twisting out, we want to take a step with the hand. So I'm just going to show a quick demo. So we kick up to handstand, and then we want to take a step out to twist and turn out. So that was very slow motion, and for some of you, you may actually want to have someone supporting you as a spotter when you're learning. It's always going to feel a little bit robotic at the beginning, but the idea is if you can take that step to twist out, it's going to really, really help you eventually to learn the twist out. Sometimes you don't even need to take that step, it's the twist out, but just really watch the hand. Try not to twist out on the hand because that can really hurt the wrist as well. So we've done twisting out, we've done kicking up. A really nice little variation of coming up to a handstand is pike straddle, and also just tuck into your handstand. So here are two ways of getting into your handstand. You're going to place your hands down. You're going to make sure you understand where to place your hands. So hands almost as wide as your shoulders. You've got index finger facing forwards, you've got straight arms, shoulders over the wrists. You're going to bring your feet together, and this is a really nice beginner way of learning pike straddle. You're going to bend the knees and hop out to straddle. Keep the straight arms, we bend the knees, and we hop back in. So it's It's a little bit of coordination drill here. And then eventually you're going to open out the legs and bring them back in. So it looks a little bit like this. So we open out and bring it back in. So really focus on here, having straight legs, pointed toes, and then eventually you're going to bring the legs over the hips as much as possible. And then you can start going into variations of straight or tuck. You can play around with that. So the second variation is tucking into handstand. So for beginners, we find our setup. Hands as wide as the shoulders, shoulders over the wrist. Coming into balls of the feet if it's comfortable for you. And the first thing is you want to kick your heels to your bottom. So keeping shoulders over the wrist, we take a little bunny hop. And it's going to feel probably quite heavy. You might feel like an elephant to begin with. Then when you start getting this action, I want you to start thinking about bringing the hips up as much as possible. So it might be very progressive and it will probably come over time. So give yourself 3 months of solid practice, maybe every other day, and you will start to definitely see a difference. You can again do this with the wall, but just really note not to like put yourself too close to the wall so you start bashing your head. You want to be a couple of inches away from the wall, and eventually you'll be able to come up. Also, using a spotter is going to be amazing because it helps you to get that feeling. So every time maybe you have someone that's going to help you and that can help you, then definitely use that help. So you get that feeling, but you also need to do it on your own. A little bit about spotting is that you want to be in a stance, a strong stance when you are spotting. So one leg is slightly bent and you want to know what they're going to do, the handstand. Find out if they're kicking up. If they're kicking up, come to the other side. If you're on the same side of the leg that's kicking, you're going to have your hands on their hips. So don't be scared to find their hips. Hold on to their hips, make them feel secure and help them up. So this is the action. You're going to help them up. And one little thing when you do spot, it's very dependent on the person. If they've been doing handstands for a few months or maybe a few years, they might not need as much help. And when they're in their balance, it's like spotting a pencil. So if you're balancing a pencil onto your hand, how is that going to stay upwards? So it's the same with spotting, it's just teetering with the fingers. And then when they come down, place your hands again under the hips, and that will help them to lower down. So thank you so much for listening. This was just a very short foundation course, but I hope this is helpful for you, and I shall see you very soon.